The People and Places of Fox Hill. From a Daily Press news article by Virginia Rawlings, published Saturday, February 1, 2003. Treasures of Fox Hill history are chronicled in the late Charles Eliot's 1976 publication, Fox Hill, Its People and Places. Eliot characterizes Fox Hill as contentedly surrounded by waters stirred by fishing boats, flocks of seagulls, wild geese, herons, and ducks. Cornfields, home gardens, and woods still full of deer are familiar to families mostly related to each other. Residents are portrayed as caring for neighbors and relatives, endowed with wide interests, and not caring unduly for wealth. The old Elizabeth City County District, bounded by the waters of the Chesapeake, Back River, Harris Creek, and the Salt Ponds, was incorporated in new boundaries of Hampton, Virginia, in 1952. Named long ago, the marshy salt ponds between Fox Hill and Rowe were a source of salt before 1776, when the General Assembly, anticipating greater demand because of war, appointed John Carey to operate a salt works there. Vats were filled with briny seawater during high tides, and salt harvested as water evaporated. Shortages of salt for foods and meat preservation had been a problem in the colonies, a cause of illness and hunger for Jamestown settlers. Eliot, born in 1928 to Thomas Alonzo Eliot and his wife, Alverta Topping Eliot, explored the village and surroundings. He knew all the creeks and ponds, collected arrowheads in fields where Indians once lived, traced all the old roads, and gathered shells along Chesapeake shores. Amusements in the town included a men's 32-piece brass band that played at baseball games and every Sunday at church. Baseball was a chief activity, with a team organized in the Lower Peninsula League in 1890, sponsored by Kecoughtan Veterans Hospital. In 1895, the league champion award was presented by McMenamin Seafood Co. While Eliot admitted to no pranks, his detailed description of how boys checked out the homes where girls were gathered for a taffy pull might cause suspicion. The boys would snatch plates of candy cooling on a windowsill. Young Eliot sat with his father around a warm stove in Henry Johnson's general store at Johnson and Beach Roads, where fishermen, mostly his uncles and cousins, told their stories. He never forgot the tales of amazing catches, of drought, hurricanes, high waves, riptides, and shipwrecks. They spoke often of the lighthouses at Grandview and Old Point Comfort that pierced thick fog and saved fishermen and their prized boats. Eliot came to love the old Back River Lighthouse, with an interest that became a lifelong study of lighthouses. In persistent reading and correspondence, he identified and learned about lighthouses worldwide, contacting scholars, owners, builders, and operators in many countries. Familiar with lighthouse structure and materials, Eliot in his book includes exact dimensions of the Back River Lighthouse built at Grandview in 1829. There are detailed measurements of the tower with 3 windows and the clockworks controlling revolution of 12 lights. Eliot married Marian Evans of longtime Fox Hill lineages, whose artistic works amplify his history of Fox Hill. Her paintings include the old Back River Lighthouse, watery scenes and water birds, and one that clearly shows the structure of a pound boat carried by 4 fishermen. The painting has become a special prize since there are no more pound boats. They were unique in design and purpose, built only at the boatyard on Harris Creek and not known elsewhere. Lamented by Fox Hill residents as well as several museums, the last pound boat disintegrated in recent years, before recognition of its historical worth. Equipment for pounding steaks was part of the sturdy scow-type boat, designed to be pulled up on the beach at the end of the day. There is an old photograph that shows John Price, Marshall Johnson, and Edward Watson mending pound nets, a daily task in this fishing village. Miles of pound nets were strung along the rivers, and in long lines out into the bay, secured to poles pounded through sands to firm foundations below. Owners, who often gave fancy names to their nets, had their own strip of shore on Back River. A list of pound net fishermen in Fox Hill made in 1942 by the Army includes heads of old families: Johnson, Wallace, Holsten, Rowe, Wyatt, Guy, Copeland, Evans, Topping, Williams, and Prime. Education of their children was a concern of parents in Fox Hill, whose history includes operation of small schools. Although the first free school in America had been established soon after settlement in Elizabeth City County, the distance was too far for Fox Hill children. In 1772, children were enrolled in religious training and schooling in Fox Hill Methodist Sunday School. The 1812 will of Nathan Yancey left funds for a school south of Back River, Greenland, and Fox Hill under certain conditions: that his lawful heirs die without children, that children of Baptist parents could not enroll, and no teacher was to be a drunkard. No school materialized. Eliot's book includes a photograph of the large new school opened in 1905 as part of the county system, with Irving L. Llewellyn as principal. Another school was organized that year when Superintendent J. M. Willis of Elizabeth City County Schools came to announce a new state law requiring all children to have a needle injection of smallpox antitoxin. The frightened children ran home. Parents in Llewellyn shared the children's fear of this new thing. They demanded an anti-vaccination school, which was formalized immediately with Llewellyn as principal. Approved by the county, Fox Hill Anti-Vaccination School issued certificates of completion of grade school for many years. There is a photograph that shows a certificate, as prescribed by the School Board of Hampton, issued to Eunice Violet Johnson in 1907. If you like this story and would like more, please like to help keep these stories alive. Comment, share your thoughts, or ask questions. Subscribe. Join me in exploring our rich history through the people that came before us. Every interaction helps spread awareness and preserves our past. Thank you for being part of this journey.